Hi, I'm Joe. Today we're going to install one of the simplest things you can do in your house is a single pole switch. Now, before we install the switch, if you're putting the box in and running the wire, you always want to put the staples in snug. Never drive anything tight when you're installing Romex wire. Also, when the wire goes into the box, there's a clamp in there. Just snug it. Everything's snug. You may run across a plastic box like this, which is the standard now. There's no clamp in this box. You just knock this out, stick your wire down through, and the staple on the Romex will hold the wire in place. When you go buying outlets, these are the same amperage outlets. Which one would you want to have in your house? This is just a 60-cent cheapie you get at home improvement store. Don't use it. Also, in the back of some of these switches, you can just shove the wire straight in, a clamping affair. Don't use it. Take your time, go buy a good quality switch. This one's probably $3. Side terminals, you put the wire around in a clockwise rotation, the same way your screw goes, and tighten it up. In a situation like this, let's ignore this wire down here. If you just have two wires coming into your box, then that's as simple as can be. You put it on any two terminals. It doesn't matter which terminal. The electrons don't know the difference. And what you have here is the feed is up in the light instead of coming up through the box. And in that instance, the white wire is always going to be the hot wire. This is the only instance where you will have in 110 volts, 120 volts, that the white wire is a hot wire. The reason for that is if you bought the power down on a black wire and the return was going back up to the light fixture, you would end up with two white wires on the fixture, which is a violation of the code. So you bring down the hot on the white, return it up to the light on this black. When you have a situation like this, this means that the feed is coming in from somewhere else and this part is just going up to your light. This wire could be coming in anywhere. You may have two wires in the top, two wires in the bottom. You just have to establish which is the hot wire. Now in all these instances on a metal box, you have to ground the box. And it's just a 1032 screw with a little tail, and you screw it back into the box. Make sure it's tight. Just make sure all your connections are tight. Arcing wires from loose connections cause fires. You just take all the tails, twist them together, and you'd have to put an extra tail to go on the ground screw of your switch. I'm not actually going to go through the connections today. In this instance where you have a hot wire coming in, what you have to do, and it'll always be this way, what you want to do is just take these two white wires. They're the same length, it would be wonderful. And push them together. Clockwise. Put the wire nut on. Tuck it back into the box. This is the neutral that's going through up to your light. It's the return wire. Be like your drain line for water. Here again you end up with two wires. Just put one on each connection. Doesn't matter what order. Make sure everything is nice and snug and tight. Always twist your wires together. There are lazy people who will just put the wires straight, put a wire nut on. That's just not good mechanical practice. So if you follow these little tips, changing the switch should be very easy. Make sure you turn off the power. You don't have to turn off the power. And if you're on a dry floor and in tennis shoes or even socks, it's not going to kill you. If you have wet shoes on, that's a different story. But it's very unpleasant to get shocked. So I hope that helps. And make sure when you're installing one, maybe you just want to get an easy button.
That was easy.
Thank you.